excuse me, with 5 heavy tier 8 tanks with those 2 tier 1s, making that 42 tier point limit.
Yeah, and we've actually got perfectly symmetrical lineups here. In terms of like the tank selection is absolutely mirrored on both sides. We've got 1 MX50 on each side, 3 IS3s, 1 T32 and 2 T1s.
Yep.
So basically in terms of tank selection, both teams going for the exact same setup. And from the looks of it right now, CIV1st going for that railroad while the NightEagles are actually going for that hill.
Yeah. So actually the NightEagles team, going for the eastern part of the map, while the Civ team will be on the west, or mostly towards the west side. Actually, they're kind of splitting up slightly, having that 1 heavy tank up in that kind of middle eastern field area.
Yeah, and actually CIV1st being kind of cautious here.
And
they did commit like to that railroad, but they're not pushing because, well, obviously they can't afford to at this point.
Yep, and actually the NightEagles sending 2 of their heavy tanks up that hill. So
you know what? If they're not countered like quickly enough, securing that eastern hill where the fortress is, like on Himmelsdorf, is absolutely vital. As a matter of fact, if you manage to get your heavy tanks up there, if you manage to make that climb, you're gonna have like very, very decent sniping positions. Now, obviously, like those 2 heavy tanks have been spotted by the scout.
Yep.
Hopefully, he's gonna make it out there alive.
Oh, he misses though. So that guy
will live. That scout will live to fight another minute or 2, perhaps.
Yep. And
interestingly enough, like the scout deciding not to leave that hill, he's just actually going round to see if there's another heavy tank, and yes, there is. He's been spotted.
Oh, and he gets taken out.
Yeah, there you go. So right now, CIV1st actually going for the push because they realize that the hill has been overtaken by those heavy tanks. So right now, 1 heavy tank on the NightEagles side actually going for the enemy base as we speak. So yes, I'm pretty sure the NightEagles have figured this out. Now, obviously, the CIV1st team coming down with 3 heavy tanks strong down that railroad, and so far, they have not been challenged, so this is going to get pretty interesting.
Yep, so it looks like they are going to start to engage each other. They are slowly moving, and the Civ team is actually, they're slowly surrounding, they're trying to surround the enemy team. But the Civ, actually, both teams are trying to surround each other, which is kind of funny.
Well, yeah, actually, just they're completely disregarding defensive positions at the moment. Both teams going for the enemy base capture as we speak. So once again, it's all going to come down to execution.
Yep, and this Civ tank is going to go down to that 2v1. And it's not looking too good for the Civ team. It's really not. Actually,
NightEagles once again coming on top of that initial firefight, and it's pretty overwhelming, as a matter of fact. They do have 1 tier 8 heavy tank advantage. All the scouts have been taken out right now, so it's all going to come down to who's going to capture the base first, but really it does look pretty good for the NightEagles because those 3 heavy tanks up there are being unchecked.
Yep, and only one tank from the CIV1st team
can actually defend that position. So honestly, folks, that's pretty much going to do it because right now those 2 heavy tanks down there on the NightEagles side are doing a pretty good job stemming the tide so far as we speak. One of them gets taken out right now, but it's not going to matter because right now the CIV1st team cannot go for the capture, whereas the capture of the enemy base has started for the NightEagles. So I'm afraid that's going to do it.
Yeah, it's probably going to be game unless somehow miraculously...
No, there is no unless. There is no unless because right now they do not have the mobility to actually defend their position, and it's pretty much game over.
Yep, it looks like NightEagles will take 3rd and final set to take this match home. Great play coming out from the NightEagles side because they did decide to take that hill and kind of surround and flank the enemy team while